Man, I thought Dion and them was gonna sign another 5-star or something the way they was talking.
Did you get that video I sent you?
That shit was funny as hell. He put the motherfucking he put the NFL hats down for a Jackson State hat. Yo, that shit was funny as hell. Oh my god, that shit was funny. I was cracking the fuck up. I think I was on headset with Falcon Craig when I watched it. And Craig said he sent the same thing on Facebook. Well, we hear right away playoff pictures. Playoff pictures are interesting. Falk was already looking at it. Some things can play out. Some things, you know. Each week, man, since 13, we have some different situations popping off right now, man. A couple of teams winning down the stretch was big. We got some big time matchups, you know, that we're talking about. You know, we're still in week 16 or 17. I don't know which one it is. I think it's 16.
17.
We're in week 17 right now, and not a lot of games were played yet. But there was a couple of games played yet. First, I want to give a shout out to Coach Junior and those Cleveland Browns in Ohio. Baltimore went to Ohio and lost a 3-point ball game to the Browns, man. Big time win. Quarterback Stanton played very well. Braden was really the difference maker in the game, man. 30 points, 30 to 27 game, man. 30 points. Really came off a strong defense and a good quarterback display. He came out and, you know, did his job. We'll talk about it. I think that was a huge win for the Browns, putting them in a situation to keep themselves in that playoff run right now. They at the 6th seed, man. That really did them justice when you got guys like the Patriots still looking to get in after they had a big win over the Buffalo Bills. So the season might change, man. It look like the Bills might jump back up to the 2nd seed and can drop the Ravens down to the 3rd, which will give us the 3rd matchup with the Browns and the Ravens this year, if it was to happen like that. The Broncos remain number 1. They only lost to the Cardinals, who are getting hot at the end of the year right now, which is crazy because you're letting the Super Bowl defending champs get hot at the right time right now. So that's the situation right now. But the Broncos are the 1st seed over here. The Bucks are continuing to just, you know, run through their opponents right now, man. They're doing it in a very disrespectful way if you're on the other end of these wins. I mean, these losses that they, you know, handing out to guys right now. They out there just doing whatever they want to you. And Jaleel Ruggs is in the middle of an MVP run. That would be the 2nd running back from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers program to, you know, put themselves in a situation, and it'll also be the 2nd diaper dandy to win the MVP, which last year Hits Israel have won that and was the first to do it. The second seed versus the seventh seed, the Eagles done fought their way back into the playoff pictures right now. They're sitting at 7 to close out the season. You know, they win, they in. Simple as that. And the funny part is the team they got to beat is probably the one team that can put them back out of the playoffs, which is the Washington football team. Down the stretch, they had some tough games, and the games continue to be tough. Washington is, you know, on the outside looking in right now, but they are in control of their own destiny in a way. They can win and get in. Usually they say it's power points, whatever. We don't know what Madden wants or what they're asking for the credentials for you to get in the playoffs, but all we know is win and you win, in my opinion. I think the last team to win usually gets in my opinion. The Bears are number 2 on this list right now, which is huge because the 4, the 3, and the 2 can switch at any moment if the team loses their last couple of games right now. Now the Giants put themselves in a good situation by beating the football team in week 17, so that gives them a higher opportunity to get themselves to that 2 seed. But a loss can also drop them to the 5 seed right now. Because so what we're looking at, Falk, is the fact that the Cowboys and the Giants have a situation for the division right now. Do you think it's possible that we might see a different division winner in the NFC in a while? We haven't seen it in over 3 seasons. Anybody but the Giants win that division.
I think the Cowboys got a good chance. I mean, to be honest, you know, they split, and then it looked like they're gonna beat their last opponent. Looks like on paper, and you know, Madden has done some strange things. They're both projected to win their remaining games.
Now, my thing is, does the Cowboys, did they play the 49ers yet?
Did the Cowboys play the 49ers yet?
Yeah, that was. What was that? Who won that game?
Cowboys, I believe.
All right. So both those games. So you got the 49ers that got to finish their season with the Cardinals. You got the. Now he's saying they didn't play yet. Let's go to the schedule for a second. Hold on. This is important. Got to get over here to the schedule. All right, let's get to the Cowboys schedule down the stretch. We got 2 games left where they at right now. So they got to play the 49ers, and then they finish off with the Browns. I like this. This is a tough schedule down the stretch for this team right here. I mean, they control their own destiny. They win both these games. Not only power points will be great for this team. I think it's a situation. You go look at the Giants, and the Giants look like they played their 17th game against the football team. So they got the Texans. They're in a good situation. They beat the Texans. You know, how many losses the Giants got right now? 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 4 losses right now. All right, let's go. I want to take a look at the Eagles for a second as well. While I'm here, so I can gather my data. So the Eagles got the Titans. I think they won this game already, so they got the football team to finish off the season. All right, so football team and the Eagles finish off week 18. That's a big game right there. Giants are in a good situation. They got the Texans. They should win that game. But then you got the Cowboys who have to play the 49ers and the Browns. Both 2 big games. Both those teams are fighting for playoff spots right now as well. So they're not going to be easy games for the Cowboys right now. But if the Cowboys can win that game, I think strength of schedule will keep them, you know, in the situation. They split. What do you think, Falk? They beat the 49ers and the Browns, and the Giants beat the football team, and then the Texans. They're going to finish with the same record. Who's going to win this division right now? Who they have on top of the division right now?
It's tough. It's tough. That's why it's the best division in football.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
really is the best division in football right now, man. I like it. I like it. How long they gonna keep this thing going, we'll see. But let's see who when it comes to their division. All right, so the Giants are in front of the division right now, 12-4 versus the Cowboys been 11-4. All right, so Coach Snake got to win both his games to remain undefeated, you know, with only 4 losses, and the Giants are on a 7-game winning streak at the same time. They got hot too at the later end of the season, where they got super hot. They're 12-4 right now. This is very interesting right now. A lot of things is going to change here. Once again, we're in a situation where it all comes down, the marbles come down to week 18, man. I don't know how many times we've said this over the 6 seasons we've played so far, but I don't think we had a season where week 18 wasn't important. Wasn't very important right now. All right, so let's just look at the NFC picture right now. 2 versus 7 is the Bears versus the Eagles, with the Eagles having the Washington football team to finish their season off with. I think if they win, they're in. And I think it's the same thing for the football team. If they can win, they're in. The Giants are number 3, and they're playing the number 6 seed 49ers. But the 49ers have 2 tough games left. They got the Cowboys and the Cardinals to finish off their season right now. So they're in a situation where they got to win to stay in. I don't know if they can lose 2 games and still remain in the playoffs. I think, they got 6 losses now. I think whatever team finishes with 8 is out of it, period. But if you finish with 7, you got a shot still. And then you got the Cardinals and the Cowboys, a game that we've seen plenty of times in the playoffs. Cardinals facing the Cowboys, where the Cowboys travel to Arizona, are the 4th and 5th seed right now. I think the Bears have 3 losses as well, where you got the Cowboys, the Cardinals, and the Giants all have 4 losses right now. So if the Bears was to take a loss, depending on if they take a loss, I think the Cardinals could be the one to get to that 2nd seed because they don't want to beat them. I don't know if the Giants played the Bears this year or even the Cowboys, but those teams with the 4 losses could move from their positions real easy in week 18. Especially the Cardinals because of the strength of their schedule. They beat the 49ers. I could see them jumping up to the 3rd or 4th seed unless they lost to the Giants this year. Did you play the Giants and the Bucks this year, Falk?
Yeah.
You did play the Giants before. All right. All right. So did you lost to the Giants?
Yeah.
All right.
The Giants and Bucks.
Okay. All right. All right, so they will have to. So I guess the Giants will have to lose 5 games and all that. So right now, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, and 2 versus 7. The bottom guys can change at any moment. 7, 5, 6, and 5 can change depending on how you finish off. The Snake got to finish off week 17 and 18. The rest of these guys just got to play week 18. On the flip side of things, you got the 2 seed versus the 7 seed, which will be the Raiders versus the Ravens. The Bills versus the Browns, and then the Jaguars versus the Dolphins right now. Although the Ravens lost a game, which gives them 3 losses and ties with the Bills, I don't know if they can swap because both of them lost in the same. No. The Bills lost last week against the Patriots. So let's go look at the schedule here and see what's going on. All right, so the Ravens got finished in the division with a rival game against the Steelers. Last time I checked, the Steelers was definitely trying to lose. So I don't know if they're going to try to play spoiler or they're going to play, we just want to fucking pick. But the Browns definitely were trying to get in the playoffs, and they did exactly that in a 30-27 win that we'll talk about shortly. Now, let's go look at the Bills real fast, see where they're at. And then I'm going to swing right back up the street to the LA Raiders in a second. Let's look at them. So they got the Vikings and the Broncos. All right, so they got 2 games remaining on that schedule that's really important. So the Broncos game will really determine the Bills' fate. Are they going to be the 3rd seed, 2nd seed in this game right now, which is huge because the Ravens losing to the Browns stopped their chances to even have an opportunity to take the number 1 seed over. Now we look at the Broncos. They're going to finish their season against the Bills. They pulled off the dub against the Raiders 43-21, and they got to play the Bills, and they could solidify their fate no matter what. A win or a loss keeps them in the 1st seed no matter what. So that's our 1st seed for the AFC. The Broncos, everything runs through Mile High in Denver. Let's look at the Raiders and see what their situation is. They're the 7th seed at this point right now, but before I go there, I'll stop at these Patriots team. And they got the Jets and the Dolphins in their season right now. I think they got 7 losses on the year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if they can go undefeated in those last 2 games, they will need some help between the Browns and the Raiders at the same time for them to be able to get in. They're still fighting for their playoffs lives. And the Raiders got the Chiefs, which look like they probably ain't even playing right now. So it looks like the Raiders will get the first win there. And I think that'll keep them, still in the 7th seed. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losses as well. I don't think nothing's going to change, though. I think if they're in and they win, they should stay in. And then the Browns, they got the Cowboys on their schedule. And who else do they already played me? So they only got the Cowboys left on their schedule. Yes, sir. So the Browns, I don't know if they got 7 losses, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, they got 6 losses. So even a loss to the Cowboys with the Browns can still keep them in the playoffs. And it depends if they're going to go 6 or 7 seed. I think, really with 6 losses, they can afford a loss and still make the playoffs. Because they're at the 6th seed. I can't see them going from 6 to out of the playoffs. I think they would just drop to 7 if that's the case. But it looks like a 7th loss team will get in between the Raiders, Patriots, and the Browns are the ones that are, fighting and still getting these playoffs over in the AFC. So that's our playoff picture right now, man. You got some hot teams like the Dolphins is playing really good down the stretch. Jaguars done what they had to do in their division. It keeps them locked into the 4th seed. Let's look at the standings for a second before we get into the goodies. Alright, so in the NFL, your number 1 ranked team is the Broncos. Hey, let's talk about the Broncos for a second, man. These guys are holding on. They were 1 loss this year. Them and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. AFC 1 loss. Buccaneers got 1 loss in the NFC. They're the 2 top seeds in their divisions. In their conferences, and they're 2 games in front of everybody else. So therefore, they can lose and still be straight. But the Broncos have been playing good football all year. It's quiet. Not a lot of people really paying attention to them. They're under the radar right now. Do you think that's a good thing for them?
Yeah. You come into a game when nobody's game planning for you, it's always an advantage.
Right. No, when you don't got eyes on you, man, you can really pretty much, your playbook is wide open when you don't got eyes on him. And we do know he will mini scheme you to death. And he's been cooking up some shit too right now. So, when you play the Broncos, they down to play a dirty, long game with you where it's going to be, you're not going to score a lot of points. They don't care if they score a lot of points. They just care what the final points look like at the end of the game. And one of the big games they played, 13-16 loss to the Arizona Cardinals, and it took a lot out of the Cardinals to win that game on the last drive to get a field goal. So that tells you what type of style of play they playing. It looks like the Broncos front 7 has gotten better. And because of that, I think that makes them that much of a problem, because they're going to play safe, they're on offense, and they're going to play smart and methodical on offense. So if they're not giving you turnovers and their no-fly zone secondary will get turnovers, and then that front 7 is playing better, this Bronco team is really a serious team in the playoffs this year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, they score at a high level, 763 points scored, and they only give up 282. This team score high, man. That system the system is exactly that, man. It's a system. They're a machine on offense. You got to stop the guy that's leading an MVP race, and if you do got a chance to stop him, they still have the other MVP guy on their bench. Mad at the world that he's still playing for this team on the bench right now, and then Ronald Jones. So this team is hot. The Ravens just took a loss. They've been playing really good football, but they've been playing, I would say, dangerous football, Falk. And the danger is they've been, a lot of games been close, and they've been having to pull these games out at the end. Doesn't seem like their offense is completely clicking on all cylinders. Although they scored 558 points this season, it's just something about their offense. And defensively, they're the number 1 ranked defense in the league. But offensively, seems like they don't, they don't feel like, the Ravens we're used to seeing right now. It could be a give and take with playing football that way, man. They're keeping guys in games and not putting games away. A lot of wasted drives, a lot of turnovers at the wrong time, and they have to end up playing dogfight games. Now, the good thing with that is you're preparing yourself for the type of games you got to play in the playoffs. The bad thing about it is, you know, they traded a lot of players off this team, especially at the receiver position, and we've yet seen a receiver really, you know, stand in front of the receiving room and say, I'm the guy. Since Hollywood's been gone, they haven't really had a true number one yet. And the guys they depended on, you know, either it's because they're not getting opportunities through play calling, or they just aren't making the plays or showing that they're ready to take that next step. So that's something to look at and pay attention to in the playoffs. Now the Bears are sitting at 12-3. Bears are always a playoff team. Their thing is, can they win the games to the guys they can't beat, they haven't beaten in a while, right? So it's all about the matchups when it comes down to the Bears. You know, when you get to the top teams in that conference, the Cardinals, the Bucks, the Giants, can the Bears stand tall with the big boys? Is all it comes down to. The Bills, they are in a situation where they already figured out who they are. Their coach already sent the message, this is who we are. We're explosive on offense, and we're still getting it together on defense. And in the process of us getting it together, we're still playing at a high level with only 3 losses on the year. At the same time, the Dolphins are on a 7-game winning streak, and they completely solidified themselves in the playoffs. They got the X next to them. Nothing can happen to knock them out of it. So they're here with 598 scored, 383 points given up right now. At the 6th seed, at 7, you got the New York Giants on the 7-game winning streak as well. 12-4, they got hot at the right time, as well as the Cardinals. The Cardinals got hot at the right time as well. And what better than to play a game that was going to determine your division for week 18. This game, to me, this game is the 8th seed versus 11th seed. That week 18 game, I want to get to it right now. I'm mad we even still sitting at 17 right now. But this game right here, bro, this is hitter. Who has the most pressure in this game right now? Is the 49ers or the Cardinals? The Cardinals are in jeopardy of losing their division for the first time. And the 49ers are this close to being able to win the division for the first time.
It's not even about losing or winning the division. It's about getting swept.
And my bad. I'm saying winning the division is the Cardinals got the division on smash,
Okay,
even though they said
it's
that because they got 6 losses. That's what I meant to talk about, the sweep. The Cardinals, I don't think there's ever been a team that sweep them, period, especially in their division right now. All right, so if the Cardinals was to get swept by the 49ers, it wouldn't be, you know, something that we look at like, I don't know, these Cardinals, I don't know, right? But the 49ers having an opportunity to sweep the Cardinals is a game changer for the 49ers. Their morale, their program, their direction they're heading, it can determine a few things right now. So again, I asked you, I know you answered it, but I asked you, who has the most pressure in this game?
Cardinals.
I think the 49ers, we're going to debate this. Why you say the Cardinals?
Because the 49ers came out and proven that they're able to beat them.
Okay.
This season.
Right. Now, I think it's more the Cardinals because the Cardinals got a lot on the line. They still got to get in the playoffs.
Sure.
Period. So I think it's the 49ers. The 49ers can't afford a loss week 17 or 18, really, in my opinion. So because of that, I think the pressure is on the Cardinals. They have to sweep the fucking the 49ers. I think they have to sweep the Cardinals just to keep themselves in the playoffs. So I don't think their coach is saying, you know what, we're on the upside right now, fellas. We beat the Cardinals this year. That's something we strive to do, which is try to win our division and beat the powerhouse in our division. Now we got an opportunity to sweep them. I think they say we got to win these games to keep our asses in these playoffs right now. So I put the pressure on the 49ers more, and I usually keep a person who's playing this game out of it. But fuck, who you think the pressure is on more, you or the 49ers?
I think the pressure's on the 49ers, just from the standpoint he was 9-2.
Right.
He had like a 2-3 game lead, and I mean, yeah, I think it's on him. I think he's going to show what I've been screaming about him, top 12 player in the league, or he's going to show that I was wrong.
Simple as that. It's definitely simple as that. Hitter, you played this team, man. You that defense, man, with Mr. Wagner in the middle like that, Just give me a little bit of about how he's changed that defense for the 49ers.
Well, it was an asterisk game, but from what I did see from him, he was pretty dominant in the middle of the field. He's definitely an up-and-coming middle linebacker in the league.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, so these Cowboys sitting at 11-4 right now with 2 games left. Both teams are in the playoff picture right now. Both teams are fighting for their playoff spots. I think the Cowboys are in a situation where they're fine. Even if they lose, I think they'll still be a playoff team because they only have 6 losses. But, you know, this is the opportunity to win your division right now, man. I think you know, you play for your division at the end of the day. The Cowboys, you know, with the Browns and the 49ers left on their roster right now, I mean, their schedule right now, they win, and I think they really got a real serious chance to win in the division. Now, Hitter, I'll ask you about the Cowboys. How is it important that they win the division right now? Because the Giants have dominated this division since season 1. Well, since season 2, they have dominated this division. So is it important to get a new face on top of this division right now, or you don't think it matters because of how competitive y'all all are over there?
It definitely matters. It's about bragging rights and morale within your division.
Right. Yeah, they the only team that as in y'all division that's beating the Giants actually. They split with them right now, and if they can, you know, do the sweep thing here, that'd be crazy. I think the Giants will feel that pressure. You got the Cow, you know what I mean? Wait, they split already, right?
They already split.
All right, but the Giants should feel the pressure of they could take the easy road out too, though. Hitter, in my opinion, they can be like, all right, well, we in a rebuild mode. We got a bunch of whole new, young, different offense right now, and all that. We lose the division. I'm not mad. We still made the playoffs. Or do you think they, you know, that'd be?
They definitely want to win the division.
Right. I'm in the same boat as you. I think they gotta win the division. I think they gotta continue to show their dominance and win this division right now. With that being said, even though these guys have been winning the division for the last 3 to 4 years, it's still the best division in football right now, because any of these guys at any moment, I mean, if you look at it right now, there's still 3 out of the 4 teams in the playoffs, with one team still being able to have a shot to get in the playoffs. The problem is they go through each other, so I don't think we'll get 4. Like I said, we'll get 3. It's just with 3 going to be in the playoffs right now. Because you look at it,
it might come down to week 18 and them Saints. I don't know who they play, but
what's the Saints' record? Saints are sitting at 9-6
as well. If the 49ers lose both of their games, and the Saints lose both of their games, and I somehow beat the Eagles, I think all 3 of us get in again. I mean, all 4 of us get in again.
So it's still possible.
It's definitely possible.
Oh my God! All right,
that's a scenario I'm throwing out there.
Wow. So it's still possible right now. I don't mean to skip by the number 10 team in the Jaguars right now. They got the Y next to their name, so obviously they're the division champs already. But when you look at 11, 12, 13, and 14. Out of those, you know, let's go back to that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of 4 teams, out of these 4 teams, you can actually go down to 5, 6, 7. So out of the 7 teams, we got the Patriots in the AFC, the Raiders in the AFC, and the Browns in the AFC. The rest are the NFC teams right now, man. It just goes to tell you how strong the NFC really is, though, right now. So you're looking at the Eagles, 49ers, Saints, and the football team, all 1 game away from, you know, playing in that second season, the postseason right now. It's huge. I'm going to go to the Saints schedule before I come back to these standings real fast, because I want to see who they play remaining and how much of a real shot. Because we've been screaming at Falk. The Saints have been, you know, stat-wise, they've showed us that they could take 1 receiver and have world record receiving yards and touchdowns with that guy. But they haven't showed that they can win to get in the playoffs. They haven't won the games they needed to win down the stretch to be a playoff team. So we want to see, you know, have they took that next step, man. And the best thing of a league like ours that's so competitive is watching guys fight their ass off every year, and then they finally get to that, you know, the mountaintop a little bit. I would say, like, you know, some people mountaintops a little different. Some guys Super Bowl or bust. Some guys are playoffs. Some guys are, you know, 500. Some guys, your mountain is a little different. But I think once you climb one mountain, your job is to look for a mountain bigger than that mountain to climb. And I think the Saints is in that boat right now. I think their mountain climbing is a little different right now. They have to be a playoff team because of what they assembled. Their offense is legit, and the problem is they play 2 divisional games, the Bucks and the Falcons. Now, depending on how tuned in the Falcons is, this game could be important too, because if they lose to the Bucks, they still have a shot to be in the playoffs just by beating the Falcons. And then it becomes down to the Madden gods and all these 7 lost teams over here in the NFC. So they control their own destiny. The last team in the NFC South to beat the Bucks was the Saints. So they're not coming into a game that they don't feel like they can absolutely win. They coming into a game where they've been there, done that before. It's probably only been once, but they've been there, done that before. So I think they should be, ready to play a familiar foe. No pun intended, foe. Alright, so let's get back over here to the standings for a second. Let's look at the divisions and how things go in each division and who's doing what, when, and where, and how. Let me ask you, Falk, if you're a team in your division and you swept the division and 6 seasons won your division, is that something that we should be giving kudos to? Is he still around? Falk O'Reilly.
Yo.
My question is, if I'm looking at division winners and I can go through some divisions and find a person that won the division 6 times, they haven't lost the division since the league started. Is that something we can give kudos to? If that's something that we should be like, yo, you know what? That's a hell of a job for them to maintain their division every year.
Yeah, I think we got to look at who's in the division as well.
All right.
I think that's a big factor in determining.
So in instance, the AFC North, where you got the Ravens. One who's locked themselves in, even with a loss to the Browns, they locked themselves into the 6th straight season of being a divisional champion. But they're playing the junior coach Browns, the Anton coach Bengals, and the junkyard coach Steelers. Or you look at the NFC North, where you see the Bears lock themselves into their 6th straight division championship, but they're playing Ant the Lions, Hero Burgers, and a new coach in Hollywood. So, like, my question is, would you give kudos to the Bears, who've been pretty much playing in the most inactive division we had, for winning it 6 times over, the AFC North team, or the Ravens, who've won it 6 times in their division, where it's an active division?
We'll go with the Ravens.
How about the Jaguars in their division, where it's the Titans coaching the Texans? Is it kudos there, or is it something they should be doing?
I think that's a should.
Okay, let's take it to the AFC East. Can't say the same here, but as of right now, the battle is between the Bills and the Dolphins, where the Bills have a 12-3 record, the Dolphins have 11-4 record. I think the Bills have the Broncos left on their roster. Hussein, you watching? Can you tell me who your last game is? Your last 2 games is actually Dolphins. I think the Patriots are one of those games. But this division, we can't even have that conversation, because at the end of the day, this division has had multiple division winners, mainly the Patriots and the Dolphins. So he played Nano. All right, bet. All right, so when you come out the AFC East, it takes us to the AFC West and the Seahawks. All right, bet. Yeah, he got an opportunity. All right, so now when you go to AFC West, you got the Broncos, who back on top of this division. Now, they won the first 3, then lost the next 2, and then they won it again. So they have 4 out of the 6 seasons where they have won their division. But the Raiders are up and coming in this division at 9-7. The Chiefs are 5-10, and the Chargers sitting at 4-11 right now. Where the Broncos are sitting at 15-1 and are the AFC champions at this point, period, where, they're the number 1 team in the AFC, and all things go through them. On the NFC side of things, we already talked about it. The Bears are divisional champions for the 6th straight time in the NFC South. So are the Buccaneers. How about this team? Do we give kudos to the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won their division 6 straight times, in a division with Coach Foe and the Saints, Coach McCoy as the Panthers, and Coach 404 as the Falcons?
I think that's a supposed to.
Another supposed to.
I don't think they. Like, I think if you ask anybody who's supposed to win this division, I think everybody would say the Bucks.
Right.
No
All right.
disrespect to anybody, but you know, I think they would say the Bucks. I think this is supposed to. It's just like my example. You say me over the NFC West, and I'm like, I don't get credit for dominating that division, or like what is it? The 49ers just beat me. You know, like in 6 seasons, he beat me one time.
Right. All right.
Anybody don't,
So the
you
NFC
know.
East will definitely have a different conversation over here. It's probably big kudos to the fact that the Giants have won this division 5 out of the 4 times, I think. Am I correct, fellas?
Yeah, that's definitely big kudos.
They lost. I don't think they won a division year 1, but I think they've won it every since year 1. Or I might be wrong. They might have. Max, how many division
I
championships
thought
do
the
you have
Eagles
right
won
now?
it. No, Eagles didn't win it year one.
I think the Eagles won it year 1. I don't know who won it year 2 though. I think Max won it four straight seasons in a row. He won it. I don't know if he got 5 out of the 6 or 4 out of the 6. But the battle is between the Giants and the Cowboys right now, 11-4, 12-4. So we need the Cowboys to win their next 2 games and make this thing interesting right now. And I would think, if the Giants was to win this division again, I mean, it's saying a lot, especially in this division. This division is really good, man. It's our best division. And then Falk said it, 6 straight division wins, even though he doesn't have it right now. It's not written in stone, but he just beat the Rams, so that solidified it, period. Because, the 49ers chance was blown when I gave him the forced loss against the Rams by accident. Or this would be a 10-5 team right now. And then this game, week 18, will be even more important. So, my bad for fucking that up. It's
Oh, he got
torture.
7 losses.
Nah, he got 6, but he only supposed to have 5. He was supposed to have a win over the Rams. All right, so it looks like, win or lose, the Cardinals, once we advance, the Cardinals will have a Y next to their name, solidifying their playoff spot, giving them a home game in a wild card round, and the NFC West crown once again. That's our divisions. That's our top teams in the league right now, as far as the top 10s and all that goes. Now, let's talk about some things. We've had 6 seasons of Game of Thrones. We're going to have a season, and Hitter said he thinks it'll be a season 7 and 8 before it switches over to real draft. Now, it's February the 3rd. The combine starts March the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I think. I think it's the 3rd through the 7th or the 1st through the 3rd, 3 days. So if we look at the calendar, it's going to start on a Thursday, and it'll run Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I can tell you right now. I don't know who you is, young man. Yep, so it's going to start March 3rd. We'll start the combine, NFL combine. So at March 3rd, going into 3, 4, 5, and going to that weekend, we will be ready to bring in the real draft rosters and start drafting the real college players and high school players and turning your rosters over. Now, in the process of that, there are going to be guys that want to know, we keep in the same league? Yes, we have to, because of the way the new draft system is with the new the new shit. It's not compatible this season, this to be able to switch over and start a new league. We won't get the benefits of what we do in real draft. Now, because of that, there are going to be opportunities for guys that can change teams, but you're going to need guys that want to change teams with you. So right now you'll be stuck with your team. So the resets will be, everybody will be in a situation where they're going to be good. We're not going to let nobody come into the real draft class when we get to that time where they got a negative cap and all that. We're going to give everybody fair, even opportunities to be able to, kind of get a somewhat similar start fresh feeling as well. Guys might want to change teams, but you're going to need guys who want to change. So, for example, say the Titans is like, all right, I want a new team, and only the Browns is willing to change new teams. It's up to those 2 guys if they want to trade teams and start from that situation. A lot of guys are going to want to keep their teams because they put the work in with their teams. But you'll be surprised how many guys will want to get out of their divisions. They, don't want to be in that division anymore, whatever the case may be. There will be opportunities for that. But outside of that, the rosters will turn over. So I'll give quick keys and quick little bit of keys to you guys that, we've done this before and had really great success with it, where we had to do it in 20. Where we kept the lead the entire time, and the only thing changed was the title of the name. All right. When you hear us say things like reset your roster, look at your team as of it is right now, and think about who you want to take into the future with you. What players you feel as though can go all the way to the August, real life August, with you and the team you got right now. If those players on your roster don't fit that they can play till August, then you should be looking to motherfucking do something about it. That's all I'm gonna give out. But real draft is gonna be fucking off the hook, man. On the players, oh my god. Anyway, those that been around and was in the 20 league with us, y'all know exactly how that shit went. And those that was been around and just been in real drafts, period, you know what we get. The energy is different. And the way we do things is a little different. Be a lot of resets to a lot of things. So other than that though, we got guys that play 6 seasons right now, and we got guys that we need to talk about. We always talk about our blue jacket guys, first ballot Hall of Famers, guys that might be missed their first ballot. They might not get the call the first time around, but they're they're on the list to be able to end up being Hall of Famers right now. Let's get into some shit real fast. We're going to go to the quarterbacks of the league right now, and we're going to go to the career stats, all the quarterbacks that are left in this league right now, and we're going to see what we're dealing with right now. All right, so when it comes down to overall quarterbacks right now, everybody and their mama would agree. So we switching teams? No, you can if somebody's willing to switch with you, but no. Kyler Murray, hitter. This question's for you. Is Kyler Murray the best quarterback in our league?
Yeah.
All right. In my opinion, there's not a debate. We got some great quarterbacks in this league, but it's not a debate when it comes down to Kyler Murray. Is Kyler Murray when his season is when it's over for Kyler Murray, right? The moment he's done playing. Is he first ballot, Blue Jacket, Game of Thrones, Real Draft Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about Kyler for a second. 49,697 yards in 7 seasons. 566 touchdowns and 223 interceptions. 68% completion. He's averaged on an average per game, 373 yards, almost 374 yards a game. QB rating 126.7, 12.7 yards a game. He's been sacked 214 times. Let's stop right there with the numbers. 49,000 and counting right now. When you think about quarterbacks that's in the league and playing right now, just in your opinion, you coach this guy. What separates him?
I think his ability to just make plays when nothing's there. He's been blessed with a coach that knows the game. But his ability to be great when the defense, they get paid too. His ability to, just create something when it's not there on film. You're like, how did he do that? And or how he calms our guys down in the huddle, man. He's just the ultimate leader. Um, it's just so many things he does, man. It's just impressive, man. It's just you can't put your finger on it because there's so many great things. But he's he's an amazing leader. He just has the it factor, man. He has the it factor.
So let's start here. When it comes down to arm talent, tell me the positives of him with his arm talent that you wouldn't expect a guy at 5'10", 270 pounds that's more of a dual threat guy.
He got a little power behind it. He get it down the field.
Is there not a throw that he haven't shown you he can make?
He can make every throw, man. Every throw. He's not limited. He could go, deep posts, deep comebacks, deep outs, deep ends. It's not a throw he can't make. And I think if you look at it, you're like, oh, nah, he's limited. He really could throw that. I think that baseball background really helped him where his arm is powerful and he looks.
Right. So let's fuse scrambler and improviser together. When you hear the word improviser, what does that mean to you?
Improvise. I mean, that's key for what I said off the first salvo, where he just has that it factor. When things breaks all, he knows how to improvise. He does it well. He thinks on the fly. He makes something out of nothing. You know, um, he, all those adjectives and superlatives, however you want to call it. He makes that. He makes it happen.
When you define, the best quarterback in the league, and you got a quarterback that can improvise, right? That he can make things happen when things aren't supposed to happen, if that makes sense. The play breaks down, the clock goes off in his head, standing in the pocket, and he got to move out of the pocket. The scrambler part is he can do things that not a lot of quarterbacks can do with his legs. When you say developing this quarterback, if I watched your development in the first season, you really spent a lot of time on making him a guy that could throw from the pocket. And then once you got that under your belt, then you started to use him, as a guy that can improvise, roll out the pocket and still make passes and all that. But would you say you took the next step when you was able to use his scrambling ability, his running ability, and put that all to the other two things we talked about, him being a good thrower, and the fact that you could take off with this guy and do some things in the run game, something that you've really never done with a quarterback, and you've played with a Kyler Murray before in Game of Thrones too, but you've never really made your quarterbacks a guy that can, if you don't pay attention to him, he can eat you up 400 yards on the ground as well.
Yeah. I think with him, it was just like, hey, how can we be great? How can we just year in, year out, maximize his potential, right? And I think, the knock on him was he couldn't throw the ball. He was small, 5'9", whatever you want to call it. He was a midget, rug rat, whatever you wanted to say. And I think he came in and was like, okay, we're going to make this guy, a quarterback that could throw 50, 60 touchdowns in a year easy. All right. And then it was like, let's unlock him. Let's use some of that 4.3 speed he has. Or that 2.5 shuttle time he had. Let's use some of that. And yeah, man. I mean, it was just to work on him to make him complete, man, and not a gadget or gimmick type of quarterback.
All right. 6 Pro Bowl appearances, won NFC Player of the Week 4 times. 2019 Offensive Rookie of the Year. All right. Best quarterback 21, best quarterback 22, best quarterback at 23. MVP of the league in 24, Offensive Player of the Year in 24, and Best Quarterback in 24. That's the trophy case. Along with that, he has 3 Super Bowl rings as well. When you go look at him, Kyler Murray himself, you look at NFL records, and let's see where he puts his name in the record books here. As a quarterback, when it comes down to passing yards career, I don't think he'll crack this list, but he's still got games left. You got to think about it. The last guy on this list is 56,368. Kyler Murray only 27. And he has a lot more seasons left, so he will crack this career list. Passing touchdowns. When you look at Kyler Murray, he is third. In the short 7 seasons, he is third on this list with 566 touchdowns. He's only behind Breeze and Brady right now. He just passed Peyton Manning a couple of joints ago, but now he's third on this list. When you look at games, let's see where he's at. He's 4th on the list and yards in a game. When you look at passing touchdowns in a game, he's 2nd on the list with 10 in a game. Anything else we can get out of him? Let's go to season. Let's see where he's at. He's number 1 in the season with 8,601 yards. In fact, he's 1, 2, and 3. He's even 4, 5, 6 as well. All right, so he's the number 1 passing yards leader ever. Any quarterback in the NFL. Passing touchdowns, he has that on Smash too. 108, where he topped his 106 and then topped his 92, all in 23, 22, and 24. So he's in the record books there. I'll ask one question: Will we see another quarterback in this league top that?
No, no. It's hard to do that, man. It's hard to go for 8,000 yards and 108 touchdowns. And, it's hard to throw for 102 and get talk about playing a computer game, and then you come back and you throw 92 and you play none, right? You play eight computer games or nine, whatever the count was. You throw 102 touchdowns,
In
right?
22, you played 9 computer games and threw 106 touchdowns. And 24, you came back and threw, no, matter of fact, my bad, like you said, 92. You threw 92 touchdowns in 2023. And they said, and that's when the computer shit was brought up, 9 of them. You did have 9 computer games in that moment. Then in 24, you came back and threw 108 and only had 2 computer games.
Yeah. And I think last year I had none. How many did I throw last year?
And 24, you threw 108. And 22, you threw 106. I think we're in 26 now. Last year, you threw 73 and 26, and then 25. You're not on this list in 25. But remember, last year was the Hits Israel show.
Yeah, this year I got 70. What's the lowest number? What's the lowest number on that list?
On that list is 66, Lamar Jackson.
Should be showing. I got 70 this year.
All right.
Or like 65.
So my question is, with the trophy case you got, the 3 Super Bowl rings, and the record book, first ballot Hall of Famer, is this the best quarterback in the NFL we ever seen?
I think he goes down as, I think if he wins one more Super Bowl, he'll be up there with Tom Brady as like debatable for the GOAT with his trophy case, numbers, records. But he has to actually win an MVP in the Super Bowl.
And that's the one thing he hasn't done yet. Won an MVP in the Super Bowl. He was the direct winner of that Super Bowl. Yeah. All right. Oh shit! I didn't mean to come out of there. Let's get back to stats. I apologize, fellas. Let's get back in here. Let's go back to NFL career stats right now. All right, when you look at quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, who's going to retire, he's just a backup at this point right now. Patrick Mahomes is an active quarterback with an active coach right now. All right, Falk, he's third on the list in passing yards. Mahomes has thrown 377 touchdowns, 232 interceptions, 65%. Mahomes has been in the playoffs twice in the 6 seasons we had. Is Mahomes a first ballot Hall of Famer?
It's just based off based off Game of Thrones, I think a lot of those 377, or at least a third of them, came before the disc started, correct?
Correct.
So with 2 playoff appearances, with one of the fastest receiving corps and better teams in the game, I just think he underachieved.
Okay.
I think he'll get in, but I don't think he's
first ballot, right? All right, so let's go to Deshaun Watson as a Philadelphia Eagle. So let's go there for a second. Career stats for a second, and let's not look at him in his. He's played 1, 2, 3, 4 seasons with the Houston Texans, but let's go Philadelphia Eagles. He's never been under 100 QB rating. And at one point we was calling this kid one of the best quarterbacks, top 5 for sure, and really calling him one of the better quarterbacks in the league for the Philadelphia Eagles. In year 1, he threw 36 touchdowns, 36 picks. Then he came back and 56 touchdowns, 31 INTs, 54, 39. Then he came back 49, 36, 48, 30. And this year, 2,767 yards. He split time, 30 touchdowns, 18 picks. But he's been high 70s, very high completion percentage, 68 to 69 to 70 above every year. Did he do enough to be able to say first ballot?
I think numbers wise he has. I'm just really struggling with the postseason success, the lack thereof.
I agree with that as well. I think, not enough postseasons for him to be a first ballot. I think he can get in number wise. But you're right, first ballot. Now, Josh Allen has resurrected his career. 40,406, 325 touchdowns, 194. Has he done enough to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Period. Just, now that, I mean, you had a Josh Allen, and then the coach disappeared. They went between three coaches on this team since Game of Thrones, right? They had one coach for a couple seasons, and they had another coach for about 2 seasons, and then Hoodie took this team over right now. Do you think his ticket hasn't been written yet?
As of now, I'm still going to say no. But he's close. I think if he has a couple more, maybe one more season, like Hoodie needs 3 seasons, William.
Right.
I think after next season.
All right, so our next 3 quarterbacks are very interesting. Let's talk about resume. You have Lamar Jackson, who's sitting here with 426 touchdowns, 183 interceptions, 66% completion percentage, QB rating of 124.2. Then you got to deal with the fact his rushing yards as well. But he has 3 Super Bowl losses. Never won a league MVP. But yet he's in the record books as well, as far as passing and things like that. With it all totaled up together, everything he's done, we go look at Lamar as a rusher as well. See his stats. Is first ballot a sure thing for Lamar Jackson, or do you think he has to win a Super Bowl?
I think it is. I mean, let's look at, and I'm not comparing him to him. Let's look at somebody like Jim Kelly.
Right.
Or
Dan Marino.
Yeah. Take out the Super Bowl. Jim Kelly is a Hall of Fame quarterback first ballot, based on his impact, his numbers, all those things, right? I think Lamar, you can't deny the impact. Whether look at the years Kyler Murray had. When he threw 102 touchdowns one year. It wasn't even sniffing the MVP because we had guys rushing for 70 touchdowns, like some absurd number, 400 carries and 70 touchdowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think Lamar in these seasons, it was seasons where he had 6,000 yards passing, 60 touchdowns, 1,200 yards rushing, 20 touchdowns, right? And that's just not one season. So, I think when you look at it, I think the fact he's made it to 3 Super Bowls, 4 AFC Championship games, I think you gotta give him some type of credit.
All right.
Okay, take him off Baltimore. Or they the team to beat in the AFC.
Yeah, you can't even think about the Baltimore Ravens without a Lamar Jackson. I agree. I do think he's first ballot Hall of Fame, and I think he gets in. My question is, does he get in as a pure passer for first ballot, or you can't separate the two?
No, I think he does. I think a pure passer. Take out the rushing. He's had seasons 50, 60 touchdowns. If you didn't have Kyler Murray throwing for an absurd number, he might be the leader in touchdowns. What's his career number in touchdowns?
426. And that puts him right now on the active quarterbacks in this league right now. That puts him number 2 in the league with touchdowns behind Kyler Murray, 566, 426. And then only 183 interceptions as well. Like, that's a low number of picks right now for that many throws and touchdowns as well. Our next guys on this list, yards wise, right now, are very interesting conversations. Is Justin Herbert a Hall of Famer first ballot for the Chargers and Coach Corey?
I think he is.
I think the number I like is only 166 interceptions.
I think he is, and I'm going to be honest. I just think he's, they've always had a potent offense, and even though they haven't had the postseason success, I think he's always been a top You know, top 3 quarterback.
Now Dan Marino in 2 seasons less than the guys that are in front of him is on here with 280 touchdowns, 200 picks, 65%, 29,578 yards. Let's just think about the success of the Dolphins. They had it. They did it with a free agent quarterback and got all the way to a Super Bowl. They switched quarterbacks and they've been a playoff team. I don't think they never made the playoffs. This team's always been in the playoffs. Are we looking at the Dan Marino again with this team? And Dan Marino Jr.?
I think his career trajectory. Yeah. I think he's one of them. I don't know if he's one right now.
Right. I wouldn't say first ballot Hall of Fame, but his story has yet to been, complete and nowhere near written.
And I think you could say the same for, Elijah Manning, Bradshaw.
Yep. All right, so yeah, the Chargers have won playoff games. They've made it to the AFC Championship at one point. They've won wild card games as well. So he's won a couple of years. He's won at least one game in the playoffs. How about Justin Fields with a Super Bowl ring and a quiet 6 seasons? Always in the playoffs. Huh? All right, so we're looking at Fields at 28,679 yards passing, 268 touchdowns to 147 picks, 64% on the year. On his career, 289 yards a game, 110.9, 111 QB rating.
The Super Bowl, I value winning. I value success in the postseason. But I just...
It's just something about him, though, right? That just don't make you feel like he's a first ballot guy. I don't know. Maybe D West. The only time you really have all eyes on him is when he's playing a big game, and that big game is consistent of really comes down to either playing the Bucks, the Giants, or the Cardinals. Because even in the playoffs, until he played one of those games,
he had the most consistent division.
Right. And I think not having an active division really hurts this guy to be a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. We got some quarterbacks honorable mention: Trey Lance, Jada Styles. We'll stop there and we'll go to the run game real fast. And we know Ronald Jones not only leads any running back that's still in the league as far as carry wise. He's not that far away from Nick Chubb. But he leads the league in carries. But when it comes down to yards, he has 16,141 rushing yards. The next man to him has 12,802. He averages 6.8 yards a game, and he averaged 277 touchdowns thus far in his career. 277 touchdowns, 7 fumbles in his career right now. We definitely 3 MVPs. This guy's played big time games. Been the best running back in the league. When the Hall of Fame comes knocking on his door, they're knocking on his door on the first ballot, right? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So my next question is: are we looking at the best running back in our league?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you have some up and coming running backs that has his say, but I'm talking about just. What he's done for that team. You put him on the map.
All right, put him on the map for sure.
You put him on the map. And while he doesn't have a ring yet, he's been damn close.
The funny thing is, if this team was to get a ring, unless he plays this year in the playoffs, I don't think he will be the reason why they want to be a part of them winning the Super Bowl. All right, so I'm gonna just shout out names. Nick Chubb is, between Coach Boone in the first 2 seasons, and then they had a season with no coach, and then Coach Jr. took him over. Nick Chubb is second in rushing. Is he a first ballot Hall of Fame?
I think a lot of that is
pre-league shit. All right, let me go back to Ronald Jones because he brought up a very good thing. I don't know why. You got to do this to the first guys right now. let's look at his trophy case. For this guy made the Pro Bowls 5 years. He was the league leader in rushing yards twice. He won the MVP in 21, Offensive Player in 21, Best Running Back in 21. Same thing in 22. Most Valuable Player, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Running Back. Then he did it again. So 3 back-to-back-to-back MVP trophies. And 2023 Most Valuable Player, Offensive Player of the Year, and Best Running Back. And he also won Best Running Back in 24. Although Hitch Israel won the MVP, he won the Best Running Back award there. Just alone with these in the 5 Pro Bowls, his trophy case is really outstanding right now. In the second round, pick 6 of the 2018 draft. Ronald Jones is solidified. He will be rocking that blue jacket the moment they come calling. Simple as that. Best running back in the league. Now, back to the name callings though. No Nick Chubb. How about a J.K. Dobbins?
Ooh.
First ballot?
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. I mean, he led them to a Super Bowl.
And I don't know if he got the actual MVP trophy, but let's not act like he wasn't the reason why they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think.
And he's been amongst the top 3 in the conversation of running backs his entire career as a New England Patriot.
I think they call. It might be. He just wasn't flashy with it, right?
It was almost like you expected it to happen. What he did, you expected it. But here's the unexpected. Nobody saw them winning the Super Bowl. Nobody. And if we could go back to those numbers in the Super Bowl, you played it. How much of an impact was he in that game? I mean, he was 90% of that offense.
He actually didn't have a good Super Bowl. What happened was the threat of him. I got caught with crossing routes and cheat stopped the run. But he actually may have had 50 yards, maybe. Like he didn't kill him.
Right.
He didn't kill me, but his presence
did. He don't get the sneaky touchdowns in that game. Same thing with the AFC Championship. He don't sneak those passing touchdowns in without him being a threat.
Right.
Impact player. J.K. Dobbins. And his season is not over. 6 years of football. He still got more football behind him. All right, Saquon Barkley. First ballot?
Pre-Chargers, yes.
All right, let's go. We're going to yards wise. My bad. Let me get back to these yard guys. All right.
Without a doubt. Once he went to the Chargers, he became pedestrian.
Okay. How about Travis Etienne for the Jaguars?
First ballot. I would like to see a little bit more playoff success, but I think they first ballot.
All right, so here we go. Derrick Henry, 6 seasons with the Titans.
He run off some numbers.
All right, I'm gonna have to go to a 6 seasons because a lot of this is from, pre-league.
Pre-league, yeah.
So let's go. We'll start at 21. All right, he had 1,636 yards, 24 touchdowns in his first year. He was 16-24 a year, 216 touchdowns, 13-16, 7 touchdowns, 656, 11. He started to fall off last year, 143 yards, 6 touchdowns, and this year he's barely touching the ball. So there's his numbers. And out of the 6 seasons,
I think he'll get in, but I don't think he's
first ballot. I think he'd get in because of what it's Derrick Henry and the shit he did before Titans. I don't think the Titans got him in, though. I don't think he did enough with him to get him in. Because he didn't do enough winning to get him in. And I really didn't think he, gave, like at the time, Derrick Henry, when we started this league, he should have been, the guy with 400 carries a year. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, they were supposed to run through him and run through defenses with him. I don't think he gets in first ballot. I think, is a big question mark. I think he will eventually get in, but I don't know how long it's going to take him to get in. I damn sure don't think he's getting in first or second ballot. Just don't think he did enough for the Titans at all. All right, so the next rusher with 10,000 yards rushing on here, does Lamar Jackson get in as a runner? Oh my God, 10,052 yards rushing, 7.9 yards to carry, 100 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think that's how many rushing touchdowns.
He got 100 rushing touchdowns, but here's a number that I think we need to pay attention to. This kid has 81 fumbles in his career.
I think he's first ballot as a thrower for sure. I think as a runner, to be honest, 81 fumbles.
I think that 81 hurts him.
Uh,
I think the fumbles hurt him as a flat out rusher. Like if he didn't throw a pass and we looked at these numbers, will we be looking at a guy that we'd be like, yep, Hall of Fame? Because again, that 10,000 didn't come just from the 6 seasons. You know what I'm saying? We had some seasons in between where he wasn't a 1,000-yard rusher also. So if he was a 1,000-yard rusher from 21 on, I would say yes right away. But I think 21 he only had 571 rushing yards. Although we at that point we was in Kyler Murray mode, looking to develop him as a passer. So he's had in 6 seasons 1, 2, 3. He had 4,000-yard seasons, with 25 being his best with 1845 and 18 touchdowns. But he's had 4 1,000-yard seasons out of 6 as a runner. I don't know, Falk. I think he get in first ballot and as a runner, bro.
81 fumbles, though. I think.
The 81 fumbles. That hurts. That's big time. What do y'all think? I think that hurts him, the 81 fumble. I think that keeps him out of it.
We see what the league say. I think the 81 fumbles, I think he gets in second year as a rusher.
That's crazy, though. They fucking numbers. All right, Casey Fields, these guys, Najee Harris, Jonathan Taylor, McCaffrey. We got some guys. How about Tyson Williams?
I think
first ballot Hall of Famer. I think we're looking at Eric Dickerson. If you know what I mean by that, stat-wise. Eric Dickerson didn't have, or Gale Sayers, those type of guys that, because you got to think about it, the numbers was there. This guy definitely rushed for somewhere between 15 to 2,000 yards every season on less carries.
Yeah, I just think playoff Williams really he made a name. I don't think without him the Cardinals have 3 out of 4 Super Bowls in 4 years. I don't think that happened.
So we had a comment with the Lamar Jackson fumbles, and he's saying that's a product of Madden and the position that he played. You can't blame him for the fumbles.
No, I agree. I just think we got to be objective. We got to be, honest. Like an honest assessment. And 81, it's not like it's 51. It's not like it's 81. He almost had as many fumbles
as touchdowns.
And I think we just. Can you imagine if he didn't have that? What would his stats have been?
All right.
I'm not saying he's not a Hall of Famer. I just think I think he'll get in. It's just we're going just off rusher, right? Just as a rusher.
Just as a rusher.
Yeah, just as a rusher, I think. I think second ballot. I mean, don't get it wrong. That's impressive, man. Less carries, running the ball is a threat. I mean, people wake up at night figuring out how they're going to stop in that offense. I could be swayed though. Like this is probably the toughest one. And that's what you want. You want it to be tough.
You want it to be a tough conversation. All right. Again, Tyson Williams. All right. Now, we got to speak on this because as a Baltimore Raven, this man had 278 yards in his first ever career starting season, 1774, 6.4 and 25 touchdowns. Now, the touchdowns was the most he's ever had in his career, if you look through his career. But from that point and becoming a starting running back for the Arizona Cardinals, we're looking at outside of season 1 as 2022 with them, you had 305 carries, 2,434 yards, 8 yards to carry, 22 touchdowns. But from there, 227, 205. So the next 3, because you got to chill, because next after that, he only touched the ball 32 times in the regular season, but was literally the force of reason why you won your 3rd Super Bowl. He played a major role in that. And for the Tennessee Titans, 98 carries. His carries is back up a little bit to 545, 10 rushing touchdowns. So he's showing he's still playoff Williams, just in a different form, because the double-digit touchdowns mean a lot. And he's the backup running back over there. Man, I wouldn't be scared to come get him even at 30 years old if I'm a player coach in this league for a nice backup, or the Titans keep him, whatever the case may be. But anyway, we're looking at year 22, 23, and 24. Four. We'll go 4 out of the 6 seasons of him being a starting running back in this league has been, nothing under 1,700 yards, nothing under double-digit touchdowns. I mean, the one year he had 18, he was under 20. Every year after that, over 20. But we don't get to see playoff numbers and things, with this back. I think he's risen. I mean, at one game he had 15.5 yards a carry in a playoff game at one point. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I guess if you Gale Sayers him, or you Eric Dickerson him, in a short amount of 4 seasons, and also those 4 playoff years as well, there's no way you can't say this running back is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. My opinion. Let me ask you. You're the guy that controlled him mainly more than I did. My question is, you made him playoff Tyson Williams, right?
I think it's playoff Williams, and I think the name says it all. He stepped up in the biggest moment, and he just didn't have, like 100 yards.
I think the man averaged somewhere between 160 yards a game in the playoffs.
Yeah, he went off, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he went off, and then he was up the backfield. I mean, playoff Williams, to the point where he took the whole season off and came back and did the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, 32 carries in that Super Bowl run where Hitch Israel won the MVP. When you got to the playoffs, it was Tyson Williams in the playoffs, the dominant player in the backfield.
Right.
And he never turned cold. You would think, oh my God, something ain't right with him. He must have been injured all year long. Why didn't he play football for this team? 32 carries. Then he get in the playoffs and he's somewhere between 23 touches a game in the playoffs. And just between carrying and catching the ball out the backfield, where Hitch Israel is the reason why he won the MVP was the way he caught the ball out of the backfield. And he damn near was benched in place of Tyson Williams in the entire playoffs. And Tyson, y'all didn't lose a beat. Tyson looked like he was the same running back as he was in each playoff he's ever played, and he was doing some of the same things Hitch did to win the MVP. He did that through those 3 playoff games.
And people won't understand the impact he had on Hitch from a mentor, teaching. He was a rookie. Like, to come in and be a rookie and say, hey, you're going to be our feature guy. You know how many dirty looks he was getting in the locker room from the receivers and tight ends that are used to 2 G's a piece. And he had a G rushing. I mean, he had a G
2,000 yards rushing and almost 1,500, right, receiving. And that's in year, as a rookie, where, like you said, every receiver on your team was used to those type of numbers: 2,000 yards, 20 touchdowns. And he came in and and got all that by his lonely. You know what I'm saying? It was like, the players were used to big numbers over there, but for one guy to show he can do that in the run game and in the passing game, you would have thought the offense would have took a hit in the playoffs, and then you would have thought he would have been a featured player in the playoffs because of what he did the entire year. And yet, playoff Williams comes in the building in the playoffs, and the fact that they're comfortable, because in that Super Bowl, Hitch had almost 68 yards rushing in that Super Bowl game as well. So, like, it wasn't like he disappeared completely, but he understood to take the back seat to Big Brother. And I mean, you have to be within your skin to be able to do some shit like that.
Yeah.
And too many people that's gonna take that back seat like that. Like, what? Phase hell, nigga, I'm the new starter over here. I just won the league MVP as the best player in the league, and you expect me to sit down in the playoffs? Kiss my ass. And then play his role well. But that just shows you how good, the the not just the coach, but and scheming things and understanding what your players are. It also shows you how good those players are, and how they play for each other at the end of the day. Let's get to the receivers and we'll stop here. So we'll just go names real fast. DeAndre Hopkins, is he first ballot Hall of Famer as a Philadelphia Eagle in this league?
No.
No?
No.
What?
I don't. I just think the number. I think it's 5 to 6 receivers better number wise. Why he's an Eagle, or his entire career. I mean,
Why he's an Eagle, my boy? You don't think? I mean,
you
you had 1,000 yards with him as a Cardinal before you sent him off to the Philadelphia Eagles. What? Hold up. Let's get down here to this 21 Arizona year. All right, so in Arizona, he had 15-14. He had 20 touchdowns, 66 catches. He leaves Arizona for Philadelphia, and he's 68 catches, 1,628 yards, and 18 touchdowns. He had more yards, less yards an average catch, less yards a game. I mean, more yards a game with the Eagles and less touchdowns with the Eagles. That's the first season. Then after that, he goes up to 66 catches, 1751, 20 touchdowns. 52 catches in 24, 1578, 18 touchdowns. And as the fourth option on their team in 25, he had 32 catches for 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. You're not looking at a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, I think personally, if I gotta think about it, he not. And I gotta think like you don't see his name and it just don't. But those are my personal numbers.
I'm not thinking about shit. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure, bro. Like, I mean, this guy is like he aged like fine wine. My boy got better as he got older. We gotta know in the chat as well, not just only. It's a conspiracy. Come the fuck on. Rob snapping. What is my grayscale? Oh my god. We snapping. Hey man, Lee on Lamar debate was driving. Don't short that man for what he is. The second coming of Vic with numbers passing. He ain't finished writing. I like it. We saying Mar's the first ballot Hall of Famer. We wanted to separate it. Could he get in as a receiver? I mean, as a quarterback and get in as a runner? First ballot for both positions. But the real conversation is the fact that Coach Falk, who traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Eagles, is saying DeAndre Hopkins wasn't significant enough to be a first ballot Hall of Famer through the 6 seasons he's played in Game of Thrones. And my argument is 146 touchdowns. I'm talking about, yes, he is, man. I think he is. All right, so if you saying no to DeAndre Hopkins, how about Tyreek Hill with Rich the Barber?
I need some numbers.
Okay, let's get to the numbers as of 2021 with Reek. All right, so he had a fucking monster year in 21. He had 91 catches, 2,473 yards, 23 touchdowns, 145.5 yards a game. He followed that up in 22 at 1959 with 76 catches and 22 touchdowns, 115 yards a game. Then in 23, he started to fall off a little bit. 62 catches, 16, 18, 26.1 yards a catch, 95 yards a game, 17 touchdowns. But in 24, he had 8 touchdowns and 1,411 yards. And in 25, his last year as a team, he did have 10 touchdowns, 67 yards, and 1,000-yard receiver. So he went crazy in years 1, 2, 3, and then he kind of started to fall off in the last 2. So in season 4 and 5, he wasn't a receiver that we was talking about anymore. He was doing what a number 1 receiver should do, which is have these type of numbers: 10 touchdowns, 114 yards, things like that. My question is, does he get in first ballot Hall of Fame? He's having a 2026 when he's fucking on star and old as shit. A better year than he had in 25 and 24. Might even say 23 unless if he can get to the touchdowns. He got 7 touchdowns right now on 1,122 yards.
This one is tough, and honestly, I'm gonna say no.
I'm in agreement with you right here. I think no. I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I do think they'll even have to. It'll be the same type of conversations next season when we ask that same question: is he first ballot Hall of Famer? I think you're still gonna have to think about it. Like, I mean, with that type of firepower over there, and a guy like Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball, if the quarterback ain't get in, I don't think the receiver's getting in either. I think he might get scrubbed just because of his 6 seasons in our league, scrubbed from making that Hall of Famer at all. Would you go as far as saying that?
I think he gets in.
You think he eventually gets in?
He gets in.
All right. Yeah, man, I don't think we're going to have a question on this. Jalen Waddle for the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I think he's a surefire.
All right, let's look at yards for a second right now. You got guys like DeAndre and Tyreek. They're the only guys that have more yards than Waddle, and it's only because of their age and how many more years they played in the league than Jalen Waddle. But Jalen Waddle comes in and does this in 6 seasons, obviously because he was a rookie year one. But this guy has 14,659 yards. There's nothing else to talk about. He is their number one threat, their only threat that anybody pays attention to when you're playing this team. And yeah, you still can't stop him from being a 2,000-yard receiver damn near every year. And he played in a Super Bowl as a rookie. Let's look at his awards a little bit. We want to talk about Jalen Waddle because I will ask you this, Falk, as we close out. Is this the best receiver in the league? We're talking about a kid that never had under 20 touchdowns and under 2,000 yards.
I will have to concur. Yeah, he is. Yeah, the way people know that's where he's going, and it don't matter.
I mean, he's never had a season under 2,000 yards.
Yeah,
ever. Yeah. He hasn't had a season with less than 20 touchdowns. These are numbers, and he ain't done, bro. Again, he is nowhere near done. 2026 it was not the last year we'll see him. I just want to know if he can maintain that. How long? I mean, what happens if he maintains it over his career every year as a 2,000-yard receiver, 20-plus touchdowns? Might be the best. Yeah. Now, see, your guys' numbers are slighted because of so many of them that do it. But this is impressive for one guy to be the guy, and everybody knows he's the guy, and you line up with him week after week after week, and he's the guy. It's that simple. I mean, he is exactly that, and young Camden is doing a hell of a job with Jalen Waddle right now, man. He did that boy some justice. Thank God. It's usually when I don't get the same guys in from real draft, we don't see those type of numbers right now. Oh, my God. All right, so let me ask you this. Hollywood Brown, is he first ballot?
Yeah. I mean, I had to think about it for a minute, but yeah, because he's been right near Waddle or under Waddle.
Yeah, I agree. I think every year he's been improving it. I would like to see what his career is going to finish as a Detroit Lion, but yeah, he's right there. Where you're looking at touchdowns in the league from receivers right now, you got Jalen Waddle at 1 and Hollywood's at number 2. Receiving yards. You got a guy coming up in touchdowns with 145, and Isabella. Him and Rondell Moore are right next to each other, 145, 143. Let me ask you this. Do you have any Hall of Fame receivers on your team first ballot? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I want to know if you think you have any first ballot Hall of Famers on your team at receiver.
It's tough. It's never been one guy, and who's the open guy. You know what I mean? Numbers wise, some could argue I got 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think you never really feared one of them because it was 3 of them.
Right.
So I think that matters too. I mean, they're champions, so that counts for something. But I'm gonna be honest. I think they don't not first ballot. I think all of them get in. If you just look at those numbers, 20+ touchdowns, 2,000 yards for over 4 years.
You can't. That's the thing you can't deny. You can't deny the production. Period. The problem is you're probably the only person that has a football team where his players are hurt because of what the other players are doing too.
Right.
Because if you gave Isabella or Rondell Moore or even Sheldon Ward the attention that Jalen Waddle and Hollywood got, we'd be looking at maybe he might be the best receiver in the league.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But if you look at 21, just Isabella, and at times you never know who's the number one threat over here. But he had 101 catches, 28 touchdowns, 30 touchdowns, 29. I mean, over his those 4 years itself, he had better numbers than Waddle, touchdown wise, except for that one the first season where he had like 40 or something. But like, I mean, Isabella. And it's crazy because this guy been on the block and he still got a lot more football left in him, and not one person even inquired about it.
He's my best receiver right now. So, he's my best receiver.
It's crazy because these are Hall of Fame numbers, flat out. First ballot at that too. Where's that other little boy at? Fucking these little ass receivers running around here going crazy. What about Rondell Moore? Stat wise, see what he did over his, remember, you shut them down at 25. You shut them down on purpose in front. He hasn't had a season under 2,000 yards, except for the shutdown year and now this year. So look, you shut him down at 25 because of the hits Israel thing, but 21, 2,000. 25 touchdowns, 22 went even more, 2,000, 33 touchdowns, comes back with 2,000, 31 touchdowns. I mean, his numbers is better than Isabella, and you calling Isabella your number one receiver, and this guy, 71 catches, 2,206 yards, 26 touchdowns, and then you shut him down and then hits MVP year, and right now he's at 1279, 16. I just think that's a shutdown because of what you're trying to do with 5 weapons right now. I can't see how you can't argue a first ballot Hall of Fame for both of those guys.
Right.
I think, again, as much as I'm screaming their numbers get hurt because of, it's multiple, because I didn't even show y'all Sheldon Ward, and he's fucking crazy as well. I didn't show the Sheldon Ward situation. Well, we're going to keep going down for a second. Let's go to young J. Jawan Hudson for the New Orleans Saints. 101 touchdowns on the year on his career, and he's only been in the league for 4. He's on this list in the top 10 in receiving yards right now. Does he get in first ballot if we were to start right now, or he's still too young? With Joe Jawan Hudson, see the problem with him is it's a coach thing. He can turn it on or turn it off whenever he wants. If he decided to Jalen Waddle this guy, it'd be no conversation at all. Believe me, if he wanted to, if I show you the numbers on whatever receiver he decided to make his number one receiver that year, you will understand that you cannot take away from the fact that if he wanted him to be the guy, he's the guy. Simple as that. So if we just go with the what if game and he Jalen Waddled him for his 5 seasons in the league, will we be seeing the same numbers as we just looked at Waddle's, Rondell Moore's, Hollywood's, and Isabella's? I think so. Now, the fact that he didn't do that is going to kill him, because you can't drop off from these type of numbers and then drop. Even these I'm comfortable with, but you can't drop off from this to these and these. And this is only because he didn't feature him as his number one. His number one is whoever he drafted or decided to play with that year. In that system, his number one receiver is always at the top 3 in the league. Simple as that. And that, I think that hurts J. Jawan Hudson, because he deserved to show that he was better than, a lot of guys we talking about right now. And I think that keeps him out of the first ballot Hall of Fame conversation. But he's the youngest receiver on this list that still has nothing but years ahead of him that he can redeem himself and really make up. Because even through his down years, he still has 74 catches and 73 catches and still 1,500 yards. I know he only had 9 touchdowns, but in 25, Damian Rice emerged on the scene, and he did the same type of numbers that most other guys, number ones, could do. That's top passers in this league. So it's crazy because he could turn it off, turn it on whenever he wants. With the type of style of play he plays on offense. And I just think that because of that, we have, down the line, by the time we get to real draft and we had this conversation again, will we be talking about Juwan Hudson as the first ballot Hall of Famer? I think if he decides to, make that guy the guy again, yes, we'll see it. Because he's one season away from another 2,000-yard season just by just putting him in those situations. Other than that, I don't think this is a guy that can, and it could hurt you in a way because is he special or is it the system? Because if you can plug anybody into that system and do that, right? But you still can't plug anybody in and say they did something like this: 4,341 yards, 44 touchdowns in his first year as a rookie, type of dandy season. But Damian Rice has these type of numbers right here, so you can plug anybody in for the New Orleans Saints that he decides, and that's not too many people can do this. Just plug a guy in and do whatever fuck you want all year with him. Not a lot of guys can do that, right? At all. You can't. I don't care who you are. Not a lot of guys can do that. If that's the case, I will already have a receiver doing that right now. We're looking like Hollywood. You can't do it. Simple as that. So that's something he can do and very good with the offense he got. He's very good at that. But I think at the same time that hurt him. So we're going to continue that conversation with Juwan Hudson because I do think he's going to eventually get in. I just don't think he's first ballot conversation. But the great thing about him is he's only in season 4 right now. So the kid's very young and can continue to do a lot of things for this team right now. Especially while they're on their playoff hunt right now. So we're going to stop there. I'm going to leave it at that because I'm going to talk about the tight ends tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. But that's our show for the night, for the late night. Appreciate all y'all that stayed on and watched, kicking it with us, how we always do. And here's the franchise guru, King Falk. And Hitter probably passed out or already disappeared for work tomorrow. Other than that, we're out of here. Holla.